Hi, we're going to talk about something a little different today. Uh, I'm filming, so you're not going to see me in the shot, so that's probably a good thing. All right, I want to talk about my new bike. Well, not new, but new to how it is right now. This used to be a single pedal power Nishiki 29er mountain bike. Uh, First, let's talk about the Nishiki name. Nishiki's been around since the early 1900s. I want to say 1929-ish era. Nishiki was building bikes in, I think, Japan. Um, the name Nishiki has been around for a long time, and the brand has been bought by many of people throughout the years. It's currently owned by a company in Europe who licensed the name to Dick's Sporting Goods. And I don't know if there are other sporting goods in the Dick's Sporting Goods um, market, if there's other names that are the same company. But so they are the only ones that you can buy the Nishiki brand from in the United States. Um, so did I buy this from Dick's Sporting Goods? No, I bought it from off of a online sale offer up, and I paid $200 for the bike, and I really like it. It's almost too big for me, but I really like the size. It's a proud and good running bike. Um, so it does have disc brakes, and they're 160 millimeter discs. They're not really massive, but that keeps the price down. The wheels are aluminum alloy. It does have aggressive mountain bike tires. And what else can I tell you about the bike? And that's it. It's a good bike. It's got Shimano. It's got integrated shifters with the brakes. Thumb shifters are really good. I like how they shift compared to other bikes that I've owned. And let's be honest, I'm not a biking person. However, this is the first bike I've actually bought in 10 years, 15 years that for myself. All right, so now let's talk about all this other stuff. I converted it to an e-bike. So I bought a DIY kit from ebikes.com or ebikekit.com and added their kit to my bike. Now, I did not get their kit with the battery. I just got the motor, the controller, the display, anything else. Oh, and the pedal assist, which is down here. Okay, now I didn't order their battery because I am a heavy person. I'm not going to beat around the bush. For my size, I am considered obese. I'm 250 pounds, 245 on a good day. So I knew that if I was going to put a motor on my bike, I need a battery that's going to propel the weight of the bike plus me. So I decided to get an after or an outside company battery. It's the biggest battery that I can buy in my price range, which was below or $400 or lower for the battery. The kit is a 48 volt system. This motor is a 500 watt continuous with a 1,000 watt peak, and the battery is, like I said, is 48 volt and it's 20 amp hours. Okay, so why did I just converted my bike and not buy an e-bike? Well, it's cost. To get the same performance, speed-wise and range with this battery, I would be spending $2,500 or higher to get the same performance out of this bike. Now, I've spent approximately $1,100 to get it to this state. Now, what do we have? Okay, so I gotta turn my battery on, and then we hit our button, and we have our dashboard. This is our battery meter, which you can customize to match your battery. Speed meter, these are levels of pedal assist or levels of power assist. And this is ultimately my mileage. I have 238 miles on it. And it does have 2 trip meters. And you can set the levels. I have this on a 1 to 9 range. It defaults at 1 to 5, but you can even, I believe, do 1 to 3. Now, talk about this for a second. I bike with my wife and her best friend, and I want to make sure that I don't exceed their limit. So by going 1 through 9, I can match their pedal cadence and have my own assist as I go along. It's cheating, I admit. They're struggling while I'm having a good time. But they're doing it for the exercise, and I'm doing it just to hang out with them. Okay, it does have, I did install an aftermarket headlight on it. It's also a Bluetooth speaker and a horn, so if I switch the switch on, you'll hear it. All right, so it does have, in the back here, it's a Bluetooth speaker, so when I have my phone hooked up here or on the pedestal or mount, it will Bluetooth music and phone calls to the speaker. It also is a horn, which is interesting. The horn sounds like a car. So I'll do this. So there's the horn. I don't care for it just because when you're coming up on people, they don't expect to hear a car sound. So they're not listening for it. So it takes an extra second or two before somebody acknowledges that there's a bicycle coming up behind them. And then they realize that it was a bike, and then they laugh. It's quite hilarious. So what else do we got? Oh, I added a cup holder so that while I'm riding, I can reach and get my drink because the battery interrupts the bottle holder cage thing. So this battery is a UPP battery, unitpackpower.com. It was just about $390, but it is a massive battery. It weighs about 25 pounds. It's heavy. Then we have the controller. This is the brains of the bike. And then back here we have the actual motor that propels the bike. So the differences of buying a built e-bike versus doing it yourself. The big difference is all of this crap. The wires are ugly. You know, they give you, extra amount of wire because they don't know what kind of bike you're putting it on. So you have to do something with it. And I did my best to kind of route the wiring. But here I got it on zip ties just going down the rail. I thought about maybe trying to drill it in, but then trying to get it back out would be a hassle. And then there's, some of the connectors are bulky. This kit has brake cutoff, motor cutoff switches that you can put on your bike. And so that when you are trying to downshift and slow, so as you know, if you're doing gears, and you're in a high gear and you need to downshift, you got to pedal. With the pedal assist, it's going to sense that and still power the bike. So you give it a little bit of brake, and then the motor cuts off. You don't have to use it. As you see, I don't have mine hooked up. And the reason for that is these guys. My shifter is integrated with the brake handle. If it was separate, I can use the brake handle that came with the kit and be done with it. But unfortunately, it doesn't work with this type of setup. So, and it's no big deal. I'm not missing it. I'm able to work it quite well. Another thing I added, I am, like I said, a heavy person. I have a lot of weight to myself. And so I have a gel seat. But on long rides, and we did a 50-mile ride a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, my bottom gets sore. So what I did is I added a shock absorbing seat post to also kind of give the sensation of rear suspension. I do have front forks, front suspension, and there's my rear suspension. All right, continuing on. What else have I done here? I added a big rack, a bike rack, so I can carry things. If I'm going to have an e-bike, I want to be able to run up to the store, go get a snack here and there, and I want to be able to bring back whatever I buy. So I decided to buy a rack for the bike, and then add a giant storage bag to it. I really like this for the price, $50. We have two side pockets, so there's a pocket here for the lock, and then there's a bigger pocket. So this is one pocket, and then there's another bigger pocket behind it, and then it repeats it on the other side. Also, we have pockets for bottles of water. Now here, I added, that's my brake light, and when it senses deceleration, it automatically comes on, and also comes on when it senses motion. But it's different when it's sensing deceleration versus just motion. It changes, so that's nice. I was able to add this here to replicate a seat post, because a lot of the rear facing lights go on your seat post, but I have the bag here that blocks the view, so I took a PVC pipe and replicated a seat post, and now the light goes there. So that's nice. I got that going on. What else can I tell you? Performance. Let's talk about the performance. So I am 250 pounds. The bike weighs probably 50, maybe 60 pounds. It's heavy with all of the motor and the battery and all that. With all that weight, it can propel me to 20 miles an hour, 19 miles an hour on electric alone. If I do the pedal assist, I can get it up to about 23-ish, red 22, 23. It starts hovering 22.9, 22.8, 23.3, in that ballpark. What I really love is that pedal assist option, because you can be pedaling, and depending on the power level, it gives you just enough to take the effort away from pedaling. So it almost is like you're pedaling downhill everywhere, except when you're going uphill. When you go uphill, if it's a steep hill with my weight again, we are talking 10 miles an hour, but I have to help it. It just doesn't have enough torque to get me up the hill on electric alone. And that's fine. You can buy bigger e-bike motors, 2,000 watts and whatnot, but your range is going to go lower, because it's going to eat up the battery more. You can add a second battery to it, but it's difficult to get it wired in, and it's not a common deal, so they don't make wiring adapters. You're going to have to adapt it yourself. What else? What else have I done to it? That's pretty much it. I am, one of my favorite projects to date is this bike. Ever since I was a kid, I always loved biking. Life escaped me over the last 10 years, so I didn't do a lot of biking. But now that I got this, I am dying to take this out of the garage every day. I mean, maybe it's a fad and maybe it will wear off, and definitely I won't be doing it when it's winter. But right now, I am in love with this bike. This is just awesome. What else can I tell you? Wiring. Like I said, most of the kit is well built where everything connects together. So the display and the switches, they all work very, very well. The throttle, I have motorcycle throttle. The bike just moved there, but I have motorcycle type throttle here. You can get throttles that are thumb controlled. But you know, unless you have a really keen eye, it doesn't stand out. So I like that. Just a note that some areas, if you have that type of throttle, your bike can only be used off-road. You know, I'm not really in agreement with that kind of law, but I understand it because there's some people out there got really powerful bikes and they're basically motorcycles. They're starting to come up with different classes for e-bikes based on capability. 1 and 2 is pretty much what most of them cover, but there are classes 3 and I think higher, but I'm not fully versed on that, so I wouldn't quote me. Nothing gets overheated. I have a trail here that is got 3 really steep hills, and I put full power while I'm pedaling, and I felt the battery and the controller, it does not get hot, and I'm really impressed with that. So I mean, just wow. I can't say enough about this thing. If you have any questions about capability, wiring, hooking it up, does it fit your bike, feel free to ask. One of the big concerns when I was ordering the kit up was in fact the disc brakes. They don't really go into a lot of fitment, however, and you know, we'll go to the back wheel. All I had to do was take my rotor off the old bike and just put it right on the motor, or take the rotor off the old wheel and put it on the rotor. The kit, they custom make the wheel per order, so you got to tell them what size bike or bike wheel that you have, and they build the wheel for you. You do have to transfer over your tires and your tube, and that's no big deal. Anybody with a flat who's dealt with a flat tire can do that. So I was concerned about whether it was going to fit or not, and they don't really explain it, but basically if it's almost like a universal type thing. If you have calipers on your bike, it's still going to fit. I was really concerned with it, and you can see how well it works right there. It just bolts right on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you have I forget what they call them, the type brakes where it clamps the wheel. If you clamp it like that, it'll still work. Whatever wheel that you had, unless it's a funky, different, weird wheel, but if you got basic wheels, it works. What happens when the battery's dead? Well, honestly, I don't know, because I haven't been able to ride long enough to run this battery dead. I do want to try it one day and just keep riding until the battery dies and then have somebody pick me up. Because I tell you, I did have a flat tire on this 2 weeks ago. And this bike is heavy to push. The other problem that this has is there's no quick release on the wheels. So if you get a flat tire and you're way out in the middle of nowhere, hopefully that you bring tools. And I still got to put tools in this bag so I can do that. I have a tire repair kit. I have CO2 cartridges, the adapters to air them up. The only thing I don't have is the ability to take the tire off. So I'm going to have to put a small toolkit in there. Again, that's one of the things about riding an e-bike. You're going to go longer distances away from your home base, and if you get a flat tire, you need to take care of it. Otherwise, you got to walk your bike and call an Uber or something, and hopefully they have a bike rack that will fit the bike. This is another thing to consider. Weight of the bike and the rack that you're going to put the bike on. Now, let me show you what we have. This is our bike rack, and it is made for 4 bikes. And we usually carry 2, but it holds the bike from here. And so anytime we transport the bikes, I have to disconnect the battery. It's no big deal because it's Velcro straps and it comes right out. But it is something to consider if you're a small person and you're trying to lift 50 pounds of bike up onto a rack, that might be difficult for you. I don't have a problem with that, but if you're a smaller person, that might be an issue. So, maybe the racks that hold the bike via the wheels might be a better option for you. And, will your rack, will your bike holder hold this much weight? Mine does pretty good on it as long as the battery's removed, but I have to remove it anyway to put it on there, so that's no big deal. What else can I tell you? I'm trying to think of all the things to tell you. The bike rack was $50. The luggage rack was $50, and I did have to do a modification to it for my bags. Let me show you here. So I had to put this loop here to keep the bags from hitting the tires, and it's still not perfect, but this was old fuel line tubing that I crushed. You can see how I just crushed it and then drilled a hole, and it's mounted there. And I did the same right there. Okay. Everything is bought. Well, the bag, the light horn, the rack, the light on the back, that was all Amazon, and the kit was from the website ebikekit.com. Another thing to consider is the frame of the bike versus how much it will propel or hold the torque of the bike, or of the electric motor. Mine holds it. It is an aluminum alloy bike, but if you have a cheaper frame bike, it might be questionable. I'm not really for sure if it's guaranteed to work, but something to consider. Also, tires. So this is my front tire. All right, you can see how tall the nubs are on this one. Okay, now let's go take a look at the back tire. Nubs are getting worn down quickly. It's not, these knobby tires are not made to be carrying this much weight on asphalt or concrete. They're made for dirt, so it's wearing these nubs down. In fact, that nub is practically gone there. I have 2 tires coming in on order. However, it is a mountain bike, and so you need to make sure that you get a street tire with the same width. I had, in fact, you can see it hanging up there, and there's the old wheel. I had a street tire that I put on, but it was 3/8, almost 7/16 narrower than the OE tire, and I didn't like the look of the bike, so I put the old tire back on. But I do have, I special ordered a set of road tires with almost, they're 2 millimeters narrower than these tires, but 2 millimeters you can't barely see. So that's it on my bike. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. The kit only took me about 3 hours to put it in. Now, I am a mechanic. I'm okay with wiring, so if you're not into that, I also have a lot of tools. But if you're not into that sort of thing, it might take you longer, but it is doable for the average person. And I'm sure if you really begged, pleaded, and whatnot, your local bike shop could probably put it together for you as well. What else? That's about it. Like I said, I don't know how long the range is. We did 50 miles a couple weeks ago, and when I got done, the life of the battery said 50%. I'm not sure if that's to complete dead or to, with lithium ions, there's a buffer of complete dead versus usable power. So I'm not sure if there's true 50% power left or not. But there is a battery management system inside the battery, so that works well. It takes care of all that for me. Um, so like I said, this whole thing is about $1,100, not including the price of the bike. So if you add the bike to it, add another 200 because I did get it off of OfferUp. But you know, I could easily do the same thing. I bought that off of OfferUp, that bike there for $200. That's the wife's bike as well. Uh, I originally got her this bike, but she doesn't ride that bike anymore. So this is an amazing package to do. You know, a dream come true for a kid. You hop on it and it just goes. Love it, love it, love it. Um, anyway, thanks for listening to me babble about my new bike. Um, like, subscribe. This is an automotive channel, but I just wanted to show this off. This is the cat's meow a bike. My neighbor said that I'm building the limousine of bicycles because I have the cup holder. I got a food holder there. I got light. I got radio. Yeah, this is just awesome. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on another time. Bye.